This week's edition of the Cartoon Show is sponsored by Cookie Cats, the pet for your tummy. Available at your local grocery stores and at the Big Donut.
You can also realize that's not something that you need. So yes, we have a lot of discussions on how to handle it with those characters. Oh, hey there, folks! Welcome to the Cartoon Show.
Man,
sorry, I was in the middle of reading something.
I really hate it when I have to adjust my camera. It really gets all fuzzy. But that's the least of my worries. Let's see here. Let's put on.
Don't mind me, Jared. I'm just in the middle of reading this interview I found on Variety.com that was released last year. I think you'll like this one because this was released when Steven Universe was turning 10 years old last year, and Variety actually sat down with Rebecca Sugar for an exclusive interview. It's been 3 years since the epilogue series Steven Universe Future ended, and you've recently worked on Fiona and Cake, which is a spin-off of Adventure Time.
Which is doing good on Max.
Will there ever be a Steven Universe revival or spin-off? That is a really interesting question. A question that's so big or so good that it made my best friend leave the camper.
Dude, I'm still here.
I would really, really appreciate it if everyone who would be interested in something like that would make a ton of noise and make it really known, because I would be thrilled to explore that. I think in this current media landscape, if there's a huge amount of public demand, then that is something that becomes impossible to ignore. I love these characters, and I love this world. I would also love to return to it, and I hope if everyone feels the same as I do, I may have an opportunity to do something like that. Rebecca Sugar wants to return to Steven Universe?
Wow, if only we could hope, yeah, because since you mentioned it earlier, just the way the Steven Universe ended, just... Ugh.
Yeah, I do actually feel like the series finale to Steven Universe Future was kind of rushed.
And it led to me crying for about 15 to 30 minutes.
I think a Steven Universe revival would actually work, because one thing, Cartoon Network has been making lots of content with the characters ever since the show ended.
True, like they've been not only just like with what you just said, but they've been kind of doing all sorts of reruns for like special holidays or something like that. Unfortunately, not last year, but I'm just gonna make that short. They did it for the 30th anniversary, especially with Steven's birthday and all that stuff, and they had him in a few appearances and a few live streams, and they even had like a Steven Universe focused live stream or something like that, right?
Oh yeah, that was from last summer. Not just here, but also on that Steven Universe YouTube page from the United Kingdom that basically just shares episode clips.
Yeah.
In fact, you were actually in a Steven Universe fan tribute video once, right?
Yes.
Cartoon Network still has been re-airing the Steven Universe movie from November 7th, 2020 to September 3rd, 2022, along with the OG series surviving in reruns, including a dedicated week-long marathon for the Crystal Gems during Pride Month. They've been also making new updates for Steven Universe Unleashed Delight, the video game.
They added a whole bunch of characters, like Connie got added, Peridot got added, and Lion got added, and Greg got added, but to my knowledge, because I'm gonna make this as short as possible, because I remember being so excited for the Greg update, but it only came on PC and Apple Arcade, and they did not release it on PS4, Xbox One, and the Nintendo Switch. Grumpy Face? Care to explain why?
And speaking of video games, Steven and Garnet have been playable characters in the open beta for that Warner Brothers Multiverses fighting game, and of course, Estelle came back to voice Garnet, because who can ever replace Estelle?
Yeah, but we don't know how to say his name right, like Daniel D. Vignier or something like that, but apparently he is playing Steven, but I think it's because Zach Callison, I think he's more so into a music career or something like that now, so I guess that's why they couldn't get Zach in the game. But no offense to Daniel, though, because he's doing a good job. And then additionally, not just like throughout video games and reruns and all that stuff, but we've gotten like merchandise all over the place, because when the series was coming out and all that stuff, we had like, I think it was 3 individual DVD sets. There was one for Gem Glow, there was one for Return, and then one for the infamous Battle of the Heart of Gems or something like that. I kind of forgot the name about that, sadly, but afterwards they actually decided to do something quite special, and they decided to release a complete collection of it on DVD, including the entire series and Steven Universe Future and the movie as well, including all the bonus features like minisodes, sing-along version of the movie, all that good stuff.
We also got like Funko Pops and blankets and calendars, comics, and figurines and stuff like that.
Unfortunately, though, they haven't been given a very good feedback all throughout, because there were a few anti-racist PSAs that they participated in, but the problem was
Maybe because maybe people thought that the PSAs were like too woke or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't seen the PSAs in a long time.
Just looking at all this stuff here that's going on in these 3 videos, although the Amethyst and Pearl ones did somewhat okay, the Garnet one was when the extreme criticism started to come into play, and I think there's a reason why for that, but it's not safe to talk about in this video.
I will give them points for throwing in a small OKKO reference, with a poster being behind Greg, and also having the Crystal Gems acknowledge the fact that people were giving these PSAs a lot of negative feedback.
Since I follow some of the crew members on Instagram and all that, I've managed to discover that Michaela Dietz and Dee Dee Magno Hall were actually a part of Estelle's thing called the Estelle Show.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, Estelle actually does this Apple podcast, and she actually did this episode where she does like this Steven Universe cast reunion thing.
Additionally, for the cast members, they've appeared in some other things like Kiff and the Ghosty Molly McGee, and Estelle would actually go on to be a part of We Bare Bears, playing, doing the theme song and then having a little guest appearance in a later episode of the series. But then Michaela Dietz and Dee Dee Magno Hall would actually end up going on to go to another Cartoon Network series. That would be the critically acclaimed Craig of the Creek.
Dee Dee actually voiced the Sewer Queen's mom.
I believe Michaela Dietz played the original Green Poncho before Omar took over, and that was in the Rise and Fall of Green Poncho, fittingly. But speaking of Cartoon Network, another place would have a pretty good following for Steven and all of that jazz would be the streaming service that was formerly known as the new streaming service without the HBO, because now we have Max, and Max will eventually be launching in Latin America, I believe sometime in February, but because of Max, Steven Universe, the original, and Future have been doing very well on the platform, but we don't know like how top they are. But the movie was on the platform, but because of some things and all that stuff, the movie eventually got removed from the platform, but I think it's just because of rights and all that stuff, so I'm pretty sure the Steven Universe movie will come back to Max soon.
But you can still watch it on Hulu.
Yeah, not just that, but let's get this out of the way. If you have it on DVD already, either in the separate copy or in the complete collection, then what's the point of owning it on streaming, right? Another thing that's been happening for Rebecca is because she eventually released her own new album of some sort, but this one's a little bit serious for her because she was talking a little bit about her own emotions that she was dealing with. I think it was probably because of the pandemic and all that jazz that was happening around that time. So it ended up becoming spiral bound, and you can listen to it right now, but something else is happening to her now that she's managing to recover. She is working with Matt Braley to work on a brand new animated feature for Sony Pictures Animation.
Well, if you don't know who Matt Braley is, he's the creator of Disney's Amphibia, which Rebecca actually made a surprise appearance on in their Christmas episode.
Yeah, and then she performs her own song, and that's apparently where all that bucket of fried chicken thing came from. And I don't understand that. Like, can somebody give me context of that, please?
And Rebecca also has been releasing stuff on her new TikTok account, including some pretty interesting concepts and storyboard panels she made for like an unproduced Steven Universe episode back when it was still in the style of the pilot, and some concepts like stuff that she was going to have put in the show back when it was first being developed and all that.
Now, since we talked a little bit about a bit of a recap, if you want to call it, she was recently asked this question about what she would like to explore in a thing like this, and apparently she said, "I know these characters in this world very well, and there's so many things in store for them and aspects of their personality that they're still grappling with that I'm interested in exploring." It's definitely not an easy answer because there's so much, and I'm also so grateful to the Steven Universe team, the crew that I worked on for 8 years on the show. Thanks to them, these characters are so incredibly rich, and this world is so beautifully defined. Even just our rules and our lore and the meaning behind why the characters are the way they are is so full that if I have the opportunity to work with them again, they really take on a life of their own. So I'm really curious about what she's planning with that, but since Steven's gone because he left, and that's where I started crying, but if she did make a revival for series for it, I would see them maybe talking about the crystal gems that are still in Beach City.
Well, my ideas for a Steven Universe revival would probably have Steven go explore what Steven's doing while he's going on his cross-country road trip sort of thing.
Yeah, whatever he's up to.
Explore new characters and maybe explore new gems that were introduced for the series for a brief while. You did say you wanted Peridot's personality to be explored more on the show.
Yeah, not just that, but I also wished we had a Peridot and Lapis fusion, but that never came to fruition, sadly. So,
and who knows? Maybe if the revival ever gets made, maybe Steven would come back to Beach City.
Maybe
I have been seeing some animatics and comics and fanfics about Steven returning to Beach City.
Just like they say, only time is going to tell.
Because Rebecca did say that if people are still interested in Steven Universe, then she would make a revival. I think Rebecca needs all of our help. If you want Steven Universe to come back, kind of like how Adventure Time came back, and how Powerpuff Girls and Fosters is coming back, then maybe spread the word on social media that you want Steven to come back.
Yeah, not just
keep art, keep running fan fictions, keep rewatching the show on DVD or on TV or on streaming. Tell your friends about the show. Keep the characters alive. Keep cosplaying them at comic events and all that.
Yeah, do whatever you can, please. And even though you guys may not trust Max right now, you probably need to subscribe to Max and watch Steven Universe so that way they can see that more of Beach City's adventures deserve to be seen.
If you want Steven Universe to come back, then maybe start a trend like hashtag believe in Steven again. You know, because back when the show was coming out, they had a motto called believe in Steven.
Yeah.
But if you want Steven Universe to come back, let us know in the comments below and share your thoughts about what you want Steven Universe to do in the future.
Only time will tell.